Hey you, come here. Come here. I found 10 awesome VR games releasing over the next month. Want to check them out?
First up, we've got an interesting game that's taken some definite inspiration from a certain famous boy wizard. One's Alliances is a 3v3 multiplayer VR experience where players engage in fast-paced magic duels. It's kind of like a traditional VR shooter with a magic spin. You can select your class, choose your spells, and take the fight to the streets. Taste sweet victory by completing your team's objectives or eliminating the opposing team. One's Alliances is a follow-up to the original VR dueling experience One's, and I think it brings a really interesting spin to VR online multiplayers. I'm in favour of any games that push things in a new direction. One's Alliances will be launching on the Quest 2 on the 30th of June. Next up is a PC release that I am really excited for. F1 2022 has been confirmed to launch with VR support on the PC. This is a massive step forward, and it's great to see EA and Codemasters bringing VR focus to the platform. I've always thought that the F1 series has some of the best graphics in the racing genre, and it just made complete sense that it should release it in VR. So this is a fantastic improvement. Featuring some excellent modern cars and pro racers, the season mode is sure to pull you in. I should note that although the game releases on the PlayStation alongside PC, it isn't confirmed to have a PSVR version, though I would fully expect when the PlayStation VR 2 launches, this will be one of the titles. You can pick it up from Steam or the Epic Store from the 1st of July. Number 3 on our list this month is an IP that feels perfectly built for VR. Landing on the Quest, we have the Twilight Zone. I think it fits perfectly because of its ability to throw you into absurd situations at the drop of a hat. If somehow you're unaware of the Twilight Zone, it's an awesome TV show that first aired in the 50s. We've since seen more episodes in the 80s and the noughties. It focuses on the macabre, spanning genres such as science fiction, absurdism, dystopian fiction, horror, and black comedy. I'm yet to see a demo of the game, but the mixed reality trailer shows us some really cool stuff. I think it's going to be a quirky and interesting game. We see the protagonist hiding from threats and facing them head on with some weaponry. Definitely a title I'm going to be picking up when it lands on the Quest store on the 14th of July. Next up, we've got another PC release. Allow me to introduce to you Tracery of Fate VR. Here we have a story-driven dark fantasy dungeon crawler. The twist is that you can play solo or in a cooperative multiplayer. You'll find yourself solving puzzles, avoiding traps, and wielding a wide range of weaponry, from dual-wielding axes, firing revolvers, and using shields. The graphics aren't exactly breathtaking, but they do have little glimpses of awesomeness. The clever use of lighting and effects really add to the experience. As you tear through your enemies, you're able to loot what are called soul crystals. These give you new skills and bring some really interesting aspects to the game. If you fancy squadding up to take on an army of the dead, then this could be the game for you. You can pick it up from the Steam store on the 29th of July. Next, we've got an awesome Quest release. I really enjoyed this next game when it landed on the PC, and it seems like the perfect contender for a Quest port. The American Dream takes you on a satirical trip through a 1950s world fair that highlights how everyday American life could be greatly improved with guns. You will travel through a vast complex constructed by some of America's finest gun manufacturers. I really like the stylised visuals in this game, and the inventive ways that they get you to make use of your guns is really fun. You'll be guided on your journey by Buddy the Talking Labrador, and I think you're going to struggle not to enjoy this one. It really is a banger. It's probably going to shoot to the top of your must-buy list. It's got to be worth a shot. Alright, I'll stop. You can pick it up for the Quest 2 from the 30th of June. Our next title is called Lost Ember VR Edition. Lost Ember originally released in 2019 as a flat PC game. This VR reimagining helps us step further into the remains of a fallen world from fascinating perspectives. Here we're going to be slipping into the role of different animals to uncover the fate of an ancient world. We're going to be kind of stepping away from the usual combat and peril that can be so heavy in VR titles. Lost Ember instead focuses on a kind of wonder and serenity. You'll find yourself really taking your time and exploring this awesome world. We'll find ourselves possessing a large number of different animals as we traverse land, sea and air and try and take in this awesome story of the fall of mankind. Lost Ember is set to drift onto Steam on the 13th of July. Next up, I'm going to introduce you to a game called Frigid. This is a survival exploration experience set in the Canadian Arctic region, where a cataclysmic event puts you in a desperate fight to survive. Nature will be pitted against you, and you're going to have to use all of your skills to hunt, build and craft if you stand a chance of survival. The single player campaign has a really intriguing story and will pit you against some really challenging scenarios. I really like the look of this one. The secluded, snowy environment is giving me vibes of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. If you really analyse it, the graphics aren't really doing much that we haven't seen before, but I like the way that pretty much everything has a physics interaction, and I think they've done a really good job of recreating the kind of things you'd need to do to survive in that kind of situation. If you'd like to check it out, they've had a demo out for a little while, but it launches fully on the 29th of July. The next on our list is a pool and billiards game called The Rack. Now, if I'm honest, every time a VR experience has tried to replicate pool, so far for me it's been a miss. It always feels like it's lacking those physical cues. You can't lean on the table and you don't get that physical contact with the ball, so I'm not holding out my breath for an amazing experience here. But it did manage to grab my attention because this game is advertised as free to play, and if I'm one thing, it's tight. The Rack is set to release towards the end of July this year, and it will be available on Steam and on the Quest when downloaded via SideQuest or the App Lab. The multiplayer is cross-platform, so it shouldn't matter what you jump in on, there should always be someone to play. The penultimate title on our list this month is a game called Shibainu VR Katana Simulator, or something like that. God knows how you actually pronounce it. It's probably said all angry and samurai-like Shibainu. I don't know, that was probably inappropriate. I apologise. Let's check out the game. You find yourself in this dojo armed with a katana, or actually sometimes a pair of katanas. The game focuses on the proper handling of the weapons, with some really good physics interactions and cutting mechanics. You won't find yourself taking on any enemies. Instead, you'll be slicing bamboo. To be successful, your cuts must be precise and in the correct order. As somebody who's watched way too many episodes of Forged in Fire, I find the idea of getting let loose with this katana to be really exciting. You can get your hands on the game at the start of July. So that brings us to our last title this month, which is a game called Tiny Island. Now, Tiny Island is a god simulator where you're going to be building and developing your own civilization. It reminds me very much of the game Day Sim. If you haven't checked that out before, it's well worth a look. The quirky thing about Tiny Island is that you'll be interacting with the whole environment using a pair of chopsticks. There's been a demo up for a little while, and there's actually some really funny interactions you can have in the game. The developers Geeky House described the experience as meditative and fluffy. They also described it as a violence-free VR experience, which personally I took as a challenge. Tiny Island is scheduled to release fully on Steam soon.
So there you have it. They are the 10 best VR games releasing over the course of the next month. It's pretty good stuff, eh? Now get out of here. You're making the place look scruffy.